Hello, I'm Max Kellerman, and thank you for joining us for this classic look back at the January 2008 matchup between surefire future Hall of Famers Roy Jones and Felix Trinidad. Going into the bout, each man was on the comeback trail. Roy Jones, the longtime pound-for-pound king, was coming off of 2 nondescript wins and was looking for a victory over a big-name opponent to help put a recent 3-fight losing streak firmly in the past. Meanwhile, Puerto Rican superstar Felix Tito Trinidad was coming off of a 2.5-year retirement and would be fighting for the first time in the light heavyweight division. In Jones, Trinidad would be facing an opponent who would enjoy, if not all, at least most of the physical advantages in the ring, but some believed Trinidad's left hook could make the difference if it could find a home on Jones' now questionable chin. Here's how Jim Lampley, Emmanuel Stewart, and I called the action in front of a large, raucous crowd of Trinidad supporters in New York's Madison Square Garden.
Round 1. And no, it's not 1999 or 2000, but maybe the result and the character of the fight will bring us something that means something anyway. The book is Trinidad must use his great punching power to confound Jones's terrific boxing skills. But how much power does Trinidad have left at age 35 after a 2.5-year layoff? And how much skill is Jones going to be able to show at age 39 after having lost 3 of his last 5 fights and 2 by knockout?
The best punch that Trinidad has is his left hook, and I just think Roy Jones' style of fighting neutralizes any left hook. Roy is vulnerable for right hands, so if he's going to have any chance of winning, I think Trinidad's going to try to concentrate and try to land right hands.
Which is maybe why Trinidad walked across the ring and landed a right cross to begin the fight.
Yes, he attempted to land it. He tried, but I think that Roy just, to me, seems to look so much stronger just looking at his body rhythm signal sends out that he's stronger, more confident, bigger, and the speed and everything. And he's going to neutralize everything that Tito does by going into that little defensive move right there.
Roy Jones promised that in the first couple of rounds, he would make Tito eat his jab. You know, for years I've listened to Roy talk about using his jab, and I'm still waiting.
He's got great reflexes. And this is what I thought the fight was going to turn out to be. I'm hoping it doesn't. A lot of Roy in so much defense, because he can neutralize anything that Tito does if he goes in these defensive modes like this. And the fight could end up being a boring fight.
2 low blows by Trinidad with the left hand. And Trinidad has never been shy or reluctant about throwing low blows. Some of them have looked intentional over the years. Whether those were, we don't know.
Keep him up, Tito.
Now Arthur McCandy tells him to keep him up. Good jab by Trinidad.
Trinidad is not throwing these punches at the sturdiest target of all time. The way Roy's reacted to punches in recent fights, I think Tito's got to like his chances if he can unload, if he can trap Roy on the ropes.
Yeah, that's where the subject of the left hook comes up, because as Emmanuel Stewart said, it's Trinidad's money punch. He contributed to most of his big knockouts, and Jones's style makes it really hard to land a left hook. Trinidad tries the left hook. Lands an uppercut in there. Jones backs him off with the left hook. Round 1 ends with Jones dancing to taunt Trinidad as if to say, oh, gee, you hurt me.
Put it right in the corner now. How you feeling, babe? Good. Okay. You see what you want to see that round? Huh? Okay. Okay, let's go to work then. Give me a little water. That's good. All right. Put a little Vaseline on his face, Doc.
That jab up, don't worry. Any moment now, you're going to get in there. Don't worry about it. This round was yours. This round was yours. Don't be overconfident, though. Don't be overconfident.
Here you can see Roy Jones establishing his speed with his, probably his pit punch in this fight here is going to be, which is simple, fast right hands through the center. And you see him show the fast 1-2 followed up with a left hook to the body. But his right hand lead is going to be a very effective punch, I think, for him going down the stretch.
Combi box numbers in round one. Trinidad 11 out of 38. Jones 7 of 24. Despite all of his tremendous hand speed, Roy Jones has never been a volume puncher. That would be too high risk. Heard Tito's dad insisting to Tito that he won the first round. Certainly anything they can do to build Trinidad's confidence early is probably good, given the long layoff. Good left hook by Jones. Good body shot by Trinidad.
Trinidad's looking very sharp. I'm very impressed with him so far. His punches are accurate. He looks a lot like the Trinidad of old.
Solid body shots landed by Felix Trinidad.
Because Trinidad was not able to rely on his athleticism in his prime to the extent Roy was, he was forced to rely on more classical kind of boxing skills, not skills tailored to his athleticism as Roy is.
There was a third low blow by Trinidad and then a good solid body punch with the left hand moments ago. And there's another body shot by Trinidad. It'll be interesting to see if over the long haul Trinidad can take something out of Jones with these body shots.
The point is, once that athleticism fades, the more classical boxer, I think, has an advantage in terms of skill. In this case, that's Trinidad.
Yeah, in that sense, the fight sort of reminds me, Max, of Larry Holmes against Muhammad Ali. Ali, the faded genius artiste, who no longer had the kind of craft that could have bailed him out against a guy like Holmes, who had far superior craft because he was never gifted with the kind of athletic talent that Ali had.
Luckily for Roy, in this case, Larry Holmes is 35 himself and has rarely fought in recent years.
Exactly. But throughout his career, Jones, like Muhammad Ali, was a genius artiste who either didn't think it would serve him well to really focus on classic disciplined boxing technique, or who just didn't need it. Right, Emmanuel?
That's correct. But right now, this fight is, Roy is fighting. I like the way he's fighting. I thought he would be fighting a lot more in the defense, but he's actually going for it. Both guys are really going for knockouts. They're both slowed down just enough to make it a good fight at this stage of their career, particularly Roy.
Well, that was one of the optimistic predictions. Because they're older, because their reflexes have faded, they'll be easier to hit, and it'll be entertaining. And some of that is showing up right now.
Indeed.
Good body shots by Trinidad. Jones feels the need to strike back. And Trinidad landed a right cross on Jones's chin to punctuate the round.
How are you feeling? Good.
Vuelve, sí, sí.
Come on, keep him at bay. Keep him at bay. He's coming in on the right hand side. All right? Come on, we know that he's coming in on the right side.
You getting them singles in there? I know it. You don't like them. You don't lock them. I like you to move around him a little bit when you do it, though. When you do it, move around and chop him again. Don't let him sit.
Combi box numbers in round two, and that was a very good Trinidad round. 23 out of 55 to 14 out of 56 for Jones. They both threw close to 40 power shots. That's good fighting in terms of entertainment. Before the fight, Roy Jones said he'll go in foes, promising that he would knock Felix Trinidad out in 4 rounds. More to the point, he said, if I can't knock him out in 4 or 5 rounds, then maybe it is time to hang up the gloves. There's no indication in the first couple of rounds, Emmanuel, that Roy Jones is headed to an early blowout of Felix Trinidad.
No, Felix is fighting him. He's really meeting him punch for punch, tit for tat, boxing-wise, too. But the key punch with Roy is going to be, like I said, his right-hand lead. He's going to try a lot of those later on as the fight goes on. And it may turn out to be a very good fight. I was talking to Ross Greenberg earlier, and he was saying that he hopes this turns out to be like the second fight between Hearns and Leonard, when both guys had slowed down just enough where they spent more time fighting and not so much boxing, and it could end up being a very exciting fight.
Both of those guys were significantly younger than these guys, but of course, modern conditioning. Jones has never had a bad habit at any moment in his career. Maybe it could happen.
Never had a bad habit outside the ring. In the ring, he's carrying that left hand kind of low. He's also seems to be baiting Trinidad, wanting to counter, hoping Trinidad gets overly aggressive, it seems to me. That strategy backfired against Glenn Koff Johnson when Roy tried to employ it.
But at this stage here, maybe Roy's not using a lot of footwork, but his hand speed seems to be very good, as well as Trinidad's. Both guys are punching with good speed with their hands. Really look like they haven't missed too much or lost so much since they was in their prime 10 years ago in terms of hand speed.
Jones looks better to me than he did against Hanshaw and Prince Baji Ajamu.
I think you guys are forgetting just how fast Roy was. He looks fast for a normal fighter, but he had superhuman speed 4 or 5 years ago.
You're right. Another body shot from Trinidad, lands a left hook. And Jones smiles.
And he landed the left hook, and I said he wouldn't land too.
Jones pounding his belly as if to say, I can take your body shots. Trinidad checking him again. And now lands the left hook upstairs. I'm not sure all the taunting and posing and acting is going to do anything
but
for
I like what Trinidad is doing. He's not going in there throwing a lot of wasted punches like Ricky Hatton did. That was one of the things he said at the fighters meeting. He was not going to waste his time with throwing punches unless he felt he had a target. Fighting a very intelligent fight.
Roy is tempting fate, hanging his chin out for Trinidad, who is a puncher. The last thing to go, they say, is your punch.
The left hook from Trinidad and landed a right hand at the bell. Now Jones is arguing with Arthur McCanty Jr. about something.
Now you're in the flow, baby. Now you're in the flow. That's what I want right there. That's the way I like to see it. You got him what we want him now. That's what I want. We're drawing the picture now. I want you to draw, okay? Okay? That's third. Hey. Do side steps in the corner, don't just stay in one place, though. Just do side steps. Get them angles on it, okay? Okay then, that's cool. Okay, look, as long as you can do it, I ain't gonna mess with you. You do it.
Cuando lo lleva a la cuerda, eso mismo. No te quedes con él. Él va a querer que tú te le pegues porque es la única oportunidad que tiene. Es la única oportunidad que tiene. Dame la toalla, dame la toalla, dame la toalla. Es la única oportunidad que tiene. ¿Oíste? No dejes que te pega el cuello.
It's your show then. It's your show. Okay? Let's shine, baby.
CompuBox numbers in an entertaining round 3. Trinidad 16 out of 44. Jones 12 out of 36. Both are credited with landing 11 power shots. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing. Tito Trinidad. Jim, I don't know. I can't see Roy Jones beating Tito Trinidad standing right in front of him. I mean, everybody said that Tito Trinidad is not good against technical boxers, and Roy's not boxing. I mean, very, very little movement. Roy's right there, and Tito's smacking him with the hardest shots, just like you see right there. And this is what's scoring the points. Tito Trinidad's winning this fight. 3-0, Trinidad based on clean punching.
Of all the results that experts have envisioned and discussed and contemplated for this fight, the one that got perhaps no play at all was the notion of Trinidad by decision over Jones.
I don't see the fight the same way Harold does. I see Roy landing the clean punches, if not the harder punches. But just as Julio Cesar Chavez may have been the actual boxer against Hector Camacho, the perceived boxer, just because Trinidad's the guy going forward does not mean that Roy is the boxer. You can box going forward, and Trinidad is doing that.
You know, this is the round that You must remember that Roy said that he was going to knock out Trinidad. At the end of the round, he asked his corner what round was that just passed. So this is the round he had predicted his 4th round knockout.
Yeah, and he was quite adamant about it. And even went so far, as I mentioned, to say, well, if I can't do that, maybe I really should hang him up. But certainly there's no indication early that Trinidad is going to be embarrassed or blown out in some way. Good quick left hook inside by Jones.
See, I see the clean punches being landed by Jones, and Trinidad's maybe harder shots largely blocked.
Triple left hook by Jones after a straight right hand. Another straight right hand. Trinidad flails away at the body with one shot, but Jones has sort of reversed the momentum in this round. May not be headed toward the 4th round knockout, but he may look back at this as a good round. Good straight right hand.
The right hands are starting to find their way home now.
Good straight right hand by Jones. That one snapped Trinidad's head just a little bit.
Good body shots from Tito.
And I got to give Roy credit, he is using the jab. More than I expected to see. Right hand over the top by Jones. Round 4 comes and goes without the knockout, but it's a good fight.
How you feeling, Tito? Good. Relax, relax. When he's coming forward, move. Don't let him come in on you. Go to the side. And when he's going back, keep him at a distance. Keep him at a distance. When he wants to come in, you use your defense. When he goes back, you attack him, but always keep him at a distance. Come on, keep your left up, because his left is coming in.
That's right. Okay. Take deep breath. Deep breath. Okay, let's go.
CompuBox numbers for power shots in round 4. Trinidad 9 out of 25. Jones 14 out of 32. Roy Jones visibly stepping up his power shot output in that round, and most notably hitting Trinidad with a series of straight right hands down the stretch. Harold Letterman gives the 4th round to Roy Jones. So he's on the scorecard in the Letterman card.
Even though Roy didn't score the knockout he predicted in the 4th round, I think that might have been could have been a key round in the fight. I think it seemed like he started establishing himself more, particularly with the right hand and the jab, those straight, simple punches. And he seems to have gotten more confident now and seems to look much, much stronger.
Well, and he's even got an excuse for the absence of the knockout, which is a simple and honorable one. Tito's a lot better than anybody thought he was going to be so far in the fight. Or at least than a lot of people thought he was going to be.
They both are. Jim, I agree with you with your comment last round. This is a good fight. Even if you didn't know who these guys were, it'd be a good fight. But
Got you here. You're all right. Shake it off. One more. Let's go. Okay, keep it clean.
you certainly know who these guys are, and it makes it that much more dramatic.
As I got a question, did Mercanti deduct a point for the low blow or simply give Jones time to recover? I think it was a warning and a recovery, no point.
Right.
As Roy gets closer, he's going to be more effective with that right hand. He's getting very close, and Tito had always had problems with straight punches coming from boxers. And he's getting very close to the point where Tito won't be able to see him. And as the fight goes on, I think it's going to be a major, major problem for Trinidad.
And Roy shakes his head after a straight right hand from Trinidad. Well, I got a question, though, Emmanuel. If Roy keeps getting closer, as you say, to try to set up a chance to land his right hand, is he going to create more opportunities for Tito to land the left hook?
I don't think so.
It's Roy backing Tito up.
Trinidad's punches seem to have lost some steam in the last 2 rounds. That left hook traveled a slow arc.
And Jones seems to have lost some respect for their power, which could be dangerous for him.
Tito got away with another low blow. And Jones threw a low blow to punctuate the round, almost as if to say, all right, look, if you're going to let him throw a low blow, I'll take one too.
Throughout the fight, you see Roy landing continually right-hand leads, and I think it's going to be more so. He's hitting those, he's landing probably about 70% of the ones that he throws.
Okay, right? Yeah. You move to your right. Make him go to your left, okay? You'll be able to get a lot more of your stuff off. He's trailing a little bit. Okay, give me a couple deep breaths.
All right.
What round we going in? 6. Okay, all right.
So far, it's been an interesting, tactical, cerebral, but laudably violent fight between the 39-year-old Roy Jones and the 35-year-old Felix Trinidad. And let me be the first to say, this is much better stuff than I expected to see. Power shots through round 5. Trinidad 49 out of 136. Jones 50 out of 135. That's unbelievably close and very competitive. Trinidad has landed more jabs. You would have expected that. He is, as Max Kellerman points out, much more the classic boxer. Trinidad with another one right on the belt line. If you were scoring the referee, you would say Mercanti Jr. is giving the belt line tonight.
Yeah, he's hitting all of them right on the belt line, which seems like it shouldn't hurt. He's really not hitting him, make you say, in the cup, but that's one of the tricks of a lot of the Latin-trained fighters. They would hit you on that after a while in your hip bone up there, we call it. And after a while, that you lose your momentum, your ability to move. It leaves you kind of, takes away your coordination in your leg.
Fernando Vargas talked about that after fighting Trinidad. And he limped for 2 weeks afterward because of getting hit in the hip. Good left hook to the body by Trinidad there.
They're landing with a thud, those hooks to the body.
Hard right hand by Jones. Pops in another straight right hand.
Watch it. Watch that elbow, Tito.
Even though Jones lands the right hand most of the time, the problem is he's not throwing it enough. And he's spending a lot of time on defense now. And he's not jabbing all at all, using his left hook and all of the fluid combinations, which he's capable of delivering.
Now the left hook gets through for Felix Trinidad.
Yes, it is.
He's not going to take no for an answer on that left hook.
He probably has won this round simply by outworking Roy.
Well, maybe not.
No, all Roy has to do is throw the punches.
Yeah, you wonder why Jones doesn't throw more right hands since they land with laser-like consistent. Good left hook by Jones. Back Trinidad up. Straight right hand right on the button by Jones. Big rally down the stretch of this round by Jones. Left hook lands for Roy. Another left hook for Roy Jones. Brilliant rally down the stretch.
All right, come on. Look alive. Look alive. Are you okay? Come on, we're winning the fight. Breathe deeply now. Breathe deeply.
No podemos coger estos golpes.
Come on, we can't take those punches. Keep moving, don't let it come in.
Hay que trabajarlo. ¿Está bien?
You're doing what you want to do. As long as you got control, everything going fine. A little bit more than what you're giving me. That's all I want. One thing I ask, when you finish frying him up, don't just lock up and let him get his shit off. Move back and make him come to you, and maybe you can trap him sometime. Okay. I got you. I got you.
This is what Jones did after the bell at the end of the last round. I'm not 100% certain of the significance of this. But it was beautiful, wasn't it? Power shots in round 6. Trinidad 8 out of 25. Jones 16 out of 30, including 11 of them in the last minute of the round. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, 58, 56, 4 rounds to 2, Tito Trinidad. Jim, I got to tell you, I see signs of Roy's brilliance when he starts backing Trinidad up. I mean, when he takes it to him, he's tremendous. But when he starts backing up, standing in front of Trinidad, let Trinidad pound on him, it just seems like, I don't know, the guy's got nothing left. So, anyway, be as it may, Tito Trinidad won 4 rounds, Roy Jones won 2, 4-2, Trinidad.
I see Trinidad fighting a good fight, but I don't see him winning myself. I see him, his punches are not landing to me. I think Roy still is landing the clean, effective punches.
I think Harold Letterman is a terrific judge, and it shows you how subjective this stuff is. I've given maybe a round or two. I think you could argue 2 rounds to Trinidad, but I think Jones is out in front by a bit.
Perfect example right there. Trinidad throwing a lot of punches, but nothing landing. Short right hand.
Short right hand by Jones. And Trinidad is still shaking his head to get rid of the cobwebs as he gets up. Half of round 7 yet to go. See if Jones can find another straight right hand.
As he gets closer and closer, he's going to be able to land punches. His hands are too fast.
He's letting it all out now. Roy Jones is visibly looking for a knockout in this round. On the belt line.
I think the Leonard Hearns 2 hopes have been realized so far.
Up to a point, but where's the Jones energy in the wake of the knockdown of Trinidad?
Yeah, I was going to say that Jones of old would have finished him off at that time, but he's still spending about 50% on offense and 50% on defense now, even at this stage.
It looked as though he had to take a rest for about 45 seconds there. Crowd likes the knockdown, though.
I know it. You know what you caught him with? Overhand right. I know. I got it. Give me something, Al. Overhand right. Overhand right. Keep moving to his left. Keep move to your right a little bit more.
Can you ask him to lift his right glove? Okay. Vamos, Tito. Vamos. Mano alta, Tito.
Come on, Tito, keep your defense up.
Voy a estar pendiente de todo.
Here you see Roy landing short right hand right on the side. I mean, very, very good punch. I mean, the reason it hurt Trinidad, he never saw the punch. And he recuperated very well after that.
What a delayed reaction knockdown. I mean, how do you account for the fact that fully 2 or 3 seconds go by before he goes down?
Yeah, it was a delayed reaction, but it's one of them he never even saw at all.
There's Roy.
And if Roy had a step to him right after that, I think Roy could have gotten him out of that probably, but Roy still playing it safe.
Roy landed 18 out of 29 power shots in that round, but almost all of them were in the first minute or the last 20 seconds. There was a long lull in the middle of the round. Trinidad was 6 of 19.
Please, Mickey.
Looked like a shot on the temple to me, and sometimes you can get a delayed reaction after that shot.
So in the wake of the 2-point round for Jones, probably any vestige of the notion that Trinidad's still leading on the scorecards goes away. And it brings me back to the point that Harold Letterman is our unofficial ringside scorer. But there's another Letterman, Julie Letterman, Harold's daughter, who is an official scorer for the fight. Now, lest you think to yourself, well, okay, Julie's Harold's daughter, she'll score the fight just the way her father does. They were separated by about, 8 points on Kelly Pavlik versus Jermaine Taylor at the moment when Pavlik knocked Taylor out. Julie had Jermaine Taylor well ahead in the fight, and Harold had Kelly Pavlik well ahead in the fight at that moment. So they don't necessarily agree. Tommy Kazmarek is one of the 3 judges for this fight. He's the guy who had Oscar De La Hoya beating Floyd Mayweather last May in Las Vegas. Which brings us back to your point, Max, that this is a subjective enterprise and not easy.
And you see Trinidad doing good work in this round, even as he retreats.
But he's not landing that much a lot, but he's still winning the round because he's busy and he's landing more than Roy because Roy's not throwing punches hard.
It's also a blocked hammer still counts for something.
Oh, yeah.
And Trinidad Roy is picking off some of these body shots with his elbows, but man, they're hitting his elbows hard.
Trinidad is still winning the round where it just stays right now unless something changes because he's just outworking Roy.
But Roy did land a right hand seconds ago. Trinidad coming back to the body. Now Jones unleashes the right hand again.
The clean punching is being done by Roy.
Looking to land another big shot. It's amazing how many times Trinidad hits Jones right on the belt line of his trunks. If Mercanti were a stricter referee with regard to that, Trinidad may already have accrued penalty points. 2 good left hooks from Jones. Trinidad now dancing away to create space as Jones suddenly becomes violent again. Jones blocked those left hooks and right crosses.
Looking like a champ. Looking like a champ. How you feeling?
Good, baby.
All right. Way to go. Way to go. You walking him down. Try to keep them punches in front of you, son. Try to keep them punches in front of you. Just don't walk in. Walk in behind your shots. Now, everything else working fine. Still circling him a little bit. I'd like for you to get to your right a little bit more.
Hook body, what you doing? My hook head, hook body. Is he dropping down to catch hook?
Yeah, he moving to the left.
No, that's how we doing. Well, I said when I hook head, hook body, what is he doing? Hook head, hook body, he trying to hook back. He blocking the hook too, right?
Yeah.
He putting his hand down?
Yeah.
Nice job, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Okay.
Got it.
I mentioned earlier it's a cerebral fight. You can feel both fighters thinking their way through the fight tactically, maybe in a way that only guys with tremendous depth of background and knowledge can do, but it's fascinating to particularly watch Jones chart his way tactically through the fight, trying to decide what to do from round to round.
You know, Austin Merkerson, the head trainer in Roy's corner, has been with Roy ever since when they went to the Olympics in '88. And he was one of the trainers, I think, with Kenny Adams on there. And he developed a relationship with Roy and been with Roy, which is very unusual throughout his whole career. Even though Merkerson has worked with other fighters, this has been his signature fighter. I don't think any other major fighter has been here training but Roy. They have a great relationship with him. He lets Roy have a lot of say about what's going on, and that's really the only way that Roy can work with someone. So
well, that's the point. I was just about to say, why? Yeah. Because Merkerson is a no-ego guy.
No, he works very, very, very good with Roy.
And as you mentioned Jim Cerebral, Roy had so many weapons at his best. He was the fastest fighter I've ever seen. He had tremendous power because he hit you didn't see it coming. He carried the power up to light heavyweight to some extent. but maybe his greatest asset was his fighting brain. He was such a smart fighter. It appears he still is. He's always thinking.
Stop pushing.
I was getting ready to say that Trinidad is doing exactly what he should do when he was throwing all of those punches in desperation, trying to create something when Roy didn't give him anything to punch at, and to the point he was throwing wide looping punches.
And the problem is you give Jones a chance to counter, and that's when he's at his best.
Yeah, and Trinidad has tired himself out of throwing those, especially those wide right hands and trying to go over the gloves. And then Roy's just walking him down.
Yeah, after a very spirited first 3 rounds, Trinidad's ring rust has shown up, the size differential has shown up, the Jones hand speed has shown up. Many things have conspired to show us why Jones was such a prohibitive favorite in the fight.
Keep him up, Tito.
And yet why a lot of people consider Tito so live.
I think Tito's fighting a good fight. I think Roy was fighting a better fight. I think Tito's fighting the best fight I've saw him fight in a long time, too.
Interestingly, you think that the outcome of this fight really means nothing in terms of answering the question who would win at their best, but maybe we're getting a result similar to what we would have gotten in their primes. Roy a little naturally bigger, a lot faster, and just a little too much.
Well, if the fight is pleasing, Max, if the crowd likes the fight, if the pay-per-view audience likes the fight, if media treat it favorably and sympathetic, would the winner of this fight get a chance against the winner of a fight between Joe Calzaghe and Bernard Hopkins?
Yep.
I think that's the right answer.
Come on, we got to work a little bit more. Right? How are we feeling? You breathe well? Yes. Come on, you've got to walk to both sides.
This last round.
You come in, throw that straight punch. Straight punch. I know you're taking some punches, but the fight is there. We got it.
Well, when did that change? Oh, let's stop out. Still up the on the inside. She got caught right up on the blood. Damn, my head. And this one, that was good left hand. Yeah, left one good. Right there. Oh, my head. Okay. Way to work, man. Way to work, though. All right. Looking good. Keep working what you're working, baby. All right. Come on, let's go, fellas. Wrap up that corner. Come on,
Our shots in round 9 by copy box count. Jones 15 out of 30, Trinidad 9 out of 27. Decent percentages means they're connecting with power shots. A lot of us, myself included, didn't expect to see this much action. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim, 86, 84, 5 rounds to 4, Roy Jones Jr. Jim, I gotta tell you, in the last 4 rounds, Roy Jones is beating him up. And that's all there is to it. He's won 4 rounds in a row to take command in this fight. And I tell you, I think he's doing it because he's walking it down. He's coming forward. When Roy Jones comes forward, he's a terrific fighter. I mean, the early rounds that Trinidad won, honestly, I thought Roy just laid there and let Trinidad pound on him. But these last 4 rounds, Roy's taking it right to him, out-punch him, landing a cleaner, harder shots, and winning the fight. 86-84, Jones.
Trinidad's upstairs left hook is the most spirited and sizzling hook he's thrown in a while.
That may have affected Jones.
Yep.
Big right hand by Jones. And another. Trinidad is eating those right hands.
it's interesting. I agree with Harold that Roy's having his best success when he's walking Trinidad down, which is unexpected.
But he's the bigger man.
You know, after he lands his blows, he seems to be satisfied knowing that he's winning. They're not really stepping up to try to close the show, so to say. But it looks like he could if he would go all out a little bit more. But he seems to be very satisfied with pot-shotting him and winning the fight and being safe.
Hey, how many times have we said that in Roy Jones's career, huh? I mean, that could have been true when he was 25 or 26 years old, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
That's a choice. Knockdown number 2 for Jones.
5, 6, 7, 8.
And it's becoming an extremely one-sided fight with 2 rounds to go.
I don't think that Trinidad was hurt that much. I think he was more off balance coming in when he got caught with a perfect 1-2 on that one. I don't think he was hurt that much.
Come on, I know you're doing well. I know you're welcome. But come on, you need to do a better fight. You need to do a better fight. But these rounds have put us behind. You know you can win the fight.
Here you see Tito coming in, and I thought he came in and his legs had gotten a little out of position right there with Square, and that's what caused the knockdown. I mean, it was a legit knockdown, but I don't think he was seriously hurt.
Roy Jones's 18-year-old twin sons wearing twin stocking caps. And enjoying their dad's conquest so far, at least so it would appear, of Felix Trinidad. He's knocked Trinidad twice, including once in the last round. Our shots in round 10, Jones with 10 of 18, just hot-shotting Trinidad with the right hand, picking his spots. Wondered, well, if Felix Trinidad is coming back, coming out of retirement after 2.5 years, and he's going to fight a big fight right away, why isn't he fighting Oscar De La Hoya? That's the rematch which everybody has wanted to see for a long time. It's been talked about frequently. When we asked Tito about it yesterday, he said, Oscar doesn't want to fight me. He doesn't want the matchup. And of course, it's been widely reported that De La Hoya has promised his Puerto Rican wife, Milly Correcha, that he will never fight another Puerto Rican fighter. But it's also been widely reported that De La Hoya was considering fighting Puerto Rico's Miguel Cotto. Max, why isn't Tito Trinidad fighting Oscar De La Hoya?
Well, I think they will eventually fight. That's a card they can always play when they're out of options. So why play the card while there are still options for either guy?
Doesn't the marketability of the fight go down if Trinidad loses here?
Maybe somewhat, but I think the names Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad together on the billboard, on the marquee, will always sell. So you can exhaust the other possibilities before that ever has to come to be.
And of course, it's been reported within the past few days that De La Hoya is contemplating another fight in 2008, and that the likely fight is a rematch with Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. Nothing has been finalized yet. The 11th round has been something of a phony war. Jones walking through the round and buying time. Trinidad searching for the chance to land a left hook and not finding it.
I think we're down. I think we're down, but we're doing a good fight. Come on, you're the general. You're the general. Let's walk, let's walk. Let's use that jab and throw that straight punch.
That's round.
All right, Doc, look out the hell out the ring.
That's round, Coach Bob. Nice job, Coach. Okay. Hey.
You're good, yes. So keep walking, and keep your defense up. Walk, walk. You don't need to fight him.
Tell me something good. Tell me something like I look good. You like it?
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, then. Tell me something like that.
I love it. Second round.
Pensacola in the house.
Pensacola in the house. Once again, Roy Jones fighting for the 56th time. Looking for victory number 52. Looking to erase some of the memories, some of the bad taste left in the mouth of the audience by his 3-fight losing streak against Antonio Tarver and Glenn Johnson. 2 of those losses by knockout. And yet he stayed in the sport, fought twice in the minor leagues, so to speak, to get himself ready for this. Promised a knockout, hasn't yet produced that, but has produced a performance good enough to show that he has worked hard, dedicated himself, put a lot of effort into trying to be as good as he could be a few days after his 39th birthday.
You know, Trinidad just doesn't have any answer for Roy's speed. He hasn't found any way to penetrate, to be effective consistently. And I think he's resigned in his corner. Listen to him. He's resigned himself to that. But outside of that knockdown, the first knockdown with the short right hand, he hasn't been seriously hurt. Even though he's been hit a lot, he hasn't been hurt. Even in the last knockdown, I didn't think he was hurt from that. And he's been getting hit with punches all night long, but hasn't been seriously hurt except for that one knockdown. And that was for a brief second.
Well, and hasn't Roy Jones all of his career been more of a sharp puncher than a heavy puncher?
Yes, he's punching, but he has never really shot all the way through with his punches and tightened up.
It's a fine performance from Roy Jones. In a weird way, that could hurt his legacy, Jim, because now, rather than those brutal knockouts at the hands of Glencoff Johnson and Antonio Tarver, rather than those being at the end of his career, and it could be pointed to and it could be said that, look, that was no longer Roy Jones, there will be those who now point to this and say, look, Roy, after those brutal knockouts, was some reasonable semblance of his older self. And those knockouts can't just be thrown away.
Well, Jones himself has always said that those knockouts were the product of the debilitation that set in his body as the result of going up to more than 200 pounds, all muscle, to fight John Ruiz for a heavyweight belt, and then having to lose 30 pounds of muscle to come back down in the light heavyweight division.
And that's reasonable. That's a reasonable explanation.
It is a reasonable discussion. Yes. Indeed it is.
And after the first knockout by Tarver, he fought too soon, particularly the next fight with Glenn Johnson. It was way too soon, without giving his head a chance to really fully heal.
In fact, I think that's the likely explanation. The fact is, he is now 39 years old, and he doesn't look it tonight.
Nice job, man.
Well, if you don't want to look 39, pick out a 35-year-old opponent who hadn't fought in 2.5 years.
Indeed.
Nice fight. Nice fight, boys. Nice fight.
Walking, not running, down the stretch.
He looked very, I thought he looked good. I even thought Tito looked good, believe it or not. It just, Roy was better. But, you know, for them to keep fighting in this league the way they are, it's okay. I'm not that excited about them fighting young fighters that much. But Roy looked good tonight. I would give him a pretty good shot at a good fight with Calzaghe.
Move to the scorecards. Tommy Kazmarek, 116-110.
Julie Letterman, 117-109. Nelson Vasquez, 116-110. All to the winner by unanimous decision. He turned back the clock tonight, Roy Jones Jr.
To date, the win over Trinidad stands as the last memorable moment of Roy Jones' brilliant career. While Trinidad went back into retirement, Jones would parlay his victory into another big fight 10 months later against lineal light heavyweight champion Joe Calzaghe. The 39-year-old Jones would lose by unanimous decision to Calzaghe in a fight that left observers of the sport wondering what might have happened had they fought when Roy was closer to his prime. Now 41, Jones fights on and looks to an April date against old rival Bernard Hopkins. I'm Max Kellerman. Thank you for being with us for this classic look back at Roy Jones versus Felix Trinidad.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.